What a crazy championship day. And how does this impact the Miami Dolphins? What is up, fans? Two fantastic games today. I am recording this super late, so if you're seeing it as soon as it comes out, go to sleep unless you live on the West Coast. It is now 10:21 as I'm recording this, and big games between the Bengals. The Super Bowl essentially is the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the LA Rams. And I told you guys that's the Super Bowl I wanted, so I'm very happy with the outcome of this weekend. I'm going to go over these two games, talk about them real quick, and then I'm going to talk about the implications and how it affects the Miami Dolphins. Because these two games do affect the Miami Dolphins, one more than the other, and I'm going to talk about that. And obviously, I'm going to talk about head coach stuff because I have head coach stuff to talk about. But before we jump into that, I have to shout out a new member in Adam King and a new patron in Madden 13. It's funny name. But thank you guys so much for being a member and a patron. If you want to be a member, you just hit the join button next to the subscribe button. You get little perks, especially when I go live. I'm going to go live more often. I'm going to try my best. And then on the Patreon side, you also get different perks. So you can decide. Patreon link is in the description, and hit the join button next to the subscribe button. So now to the games. So yes, the Cincinnati Bengals are taking on LA 2 years in a row, back to back, that the home team is playing at home in the Super Bowl. Never happened until last year. And now back-to-back years, you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Super Bowl and playing in it. And now you have the LA Rams hosting the Super Bowl and they're playing in it. So back-to-back years. San Fran losing essentially means the Miami Dolphins are picking officially at pick number 29. All the way down there. So the Dolphins' first round pick is the 29th pick overall, whereas if they kept their pick, it would have been the 15th. So they lost about 14 spots in that trade to move back up to take Jalen Waddle. I've talked to you guys about it. Love the trade. Love getting Waddle. I just wish they didn't give up the Dolphins' pick for that. But Cincinnati taking on Kansas City, the Patrick Mahomes, the second half just disappeared. Joe Burrow throwing a stupid interception. His defense really helped him out, but he still made some really good throws. I put a $20 parlay on that game. I needed Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Jamar Chase to catch touchdowns, and I needed the Cincinnati Bengals to cover the 7-point spread, and I won $300. I was very happy at the end of that game. And I'm happy that Joe Burrow is going to the Super Bowl. And I'd like to see Cincinnati win the Super Bowl. They've never won a Super Bowl. But big ups to Cincinnati. Big ups to Joe Burrow. I'm going to talk about them in a little bit when it comes to the implication of the Miami Dolphins. Kansas City, you just, you shut it off after you went up 24-3, I think, or 21-3. You just stopped playing for some reason. And Cincinnati just had a harder, a more of a drive than you did. And then we have San Francisco taking on LA. Another fantastic game. San Francisco went up at some point. I think it was 17-7. At some point, LA kept coming back. I'm very happy for Matthew Stafford going to the Super Bowl. He was stuck with the Lions for so long, was going nowhere with the Lions for so long. Trade him to the LA Rams. His first year there, boom, he goes to the Super Bowl. Very happy for Aaron Donald. You guys know he's one of my non-Dolphin favorite defensive players. Would like to see him get a Super Bowl. This is a win-win for me. The Super Bowl. Cincinnati wins. It's fantastic. I'm happy for Joe Burrow to get a ring. I'm happy for Cincinnati and the city and the fans to finally get a Super Bowl championship. And on the flip side, the Rams, I'm happy for Stafford to get a ring after leaving Detroit. I'm happy for Aaron Donald to get a ring. Von Miller already's got one. Odell, Cooper Kupp, fantastic play, So this is a win-win for me. I didn't want to see Kansas City in there anymore, and I don't want our draft pick to fall any further, but it's like 2 picks at this point. Don't really matter. So that being said, how is the implication here? How does this affect the Miami Dolphins? First and foremost, we'll go into the coaching search, which I've made like 3 videos in a row about it, trying to consistently get you updated or keep you updated. First and foremost, obviously, Mike McDaniel is the offensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers, and everything is a rumor. Everything is a rumor. So what I'm telling you right now, you take it and you hold on to it. That's all I'm going to tell you to do. but he's going to come in for a second interview. We'll see how that pans out. We'll see. But it's at the point now where if he would have won, the Dolphins would have had to wait a little longer. But is he the reason? Again, we don't know anything. Is Mike McDaniel the reason that the Miami Dolphins were waiting? Because now they can hire him if they want to when he comes in for the second interview. If they like him as much as the rumors are making it seem that they like him, they can now hire him. Other news came out today that I'm going to talk about when it comes to the head coaching. This is from Mark Carman. I don't know who Mark Carman is, but he has a check next to his name, so I'm gonna take what he says a little bit seriously, more serious than someone without the check mark. He says, hearing from a reliable source, Jim Harbaugh will tell the team today/tomorrow he is leaving to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Could have taken the Minnesota job, preferred Miami. Outside chance Michigan pays over the top and he stays, but bet on Miami. When I read that, I got very excited. You guys know that I want a head coach that has been to a Super Bowl, that has the experience, and I like Jim Harbaugh not only because he has a 44-19-1 record, first 3 years playoffs, conference championship games 2 years, wins one of them, goes to the, you know what I'm saying? He has very good accolades in the NFL. His last year was a doo-doo year, and then he ended up leaving, going to Michigan. Even in Stanford, when he had Andrew Luck with him. Good coach, and I'd love for him to be the head coach of the Dolphins. So when I saw this, I got very giddy, but I also got nervous because I don't know this guy. I don't know his credentials. I don't know if he actually has reliable sources. Then Clint Stoner, I'm going to say Stoner, came out and said, John Harbaugh handed Jim Harbaugh, DC Mike McDonald. Michigan had an incredible year. John Harbaugh took DC Mike McDonald back. Brothers don't do that if the plan is to stay the course. Jim is leaving Michigan for an NFL job, y'all. Book it. Skull, fins up, where y'all at? So essentially he's saying John Harbaugh handed Jim Harbaugh DC Mike McDaniel. So his brother, Ravens, said, here, have this guy, he could be your DC in Michigan. Then Michigan had an incredible year with him. Now John Harbaugh is going to take him back. You don't do that to your brother unless you know, as your John. I'm John Harbaugh. You're Jim Harbaugh. I know that you are leaving, and you're not going back to Michigan, and you don't need him for Michigan anymore. That's what he's saying. So that's the Harbaugh news that came out, and I don't want to get my hopes up. I'd rather be surprised than let down, and I'm very nervous about this because I want Jim Harbaugh. Some of you guys might not want him. You have your right to your opinion on not wanting him, but this is who I wanted all along. So with this news coming out, I was like, "Ooh, baby, oh man, if it gets announced, I'm gonna have videos where I'm gonna be doing backflips on here. Be very excited." So again, I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything. I have no inside sources. I'm going off of this stuff I'm telling you. So all we could do is sit back and wait. From what I'm hearing, it's either Mike McDaniel or Jim Harbaugh. I prefer Jim Harbaugh. So that is the head coaching implications for the Super Bowl. Now let's talk about another implication that I noticed. And that is the Cincinnati Bengals. Doug, what does the Cincinnati Bengals have to do with the Miami Dolphins at all? The Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals started their rebuild at the same exact time. 2019, the Miami Dolphins hired Brian Flores, and the Cincinnati Bengals hired Taylor, who again was the quarterback coach that we brought in for Ryan Tannehill. So he was with the Dolphins. Same exact rebuild. Dolphins did a little bit differently. Cincinnati still had their quarterback, the Red Rocket. His name is just off my noggin for some reason. And didn't tear it down. The Dolphins, on the other hand, tore it down to the studs. Thought the cap was bloated, too much dead cap space. We need to, build through the draft, go young. We're going to trade Tunsil, get a plethora of picks. And then all these guys are complaining about working for Flores, so they trade them away. All this stuff happened. So there's that. Then, the Dolphins, 5-11, 10-6. You look at Cincinnati, 2-14, 4-11-1. Joe Burrow does get hurt in the middle of that 4-11-1 season. So Dolphins sitting there at 10-6. Cincinnati sitting there at 4-11-1. and then this season happens. And that is why I'm talking to you about the implications of Cincinnati being in the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. And a lot of people say, oh, Cincinnati has a worse offensive line than the Dolphins. And look what Joe Burrow's doing. That's my response to when people say Cincinnati had a worse offensive line than the Dolphins. Because Cincinnati in the regular season, I'm not talking about the extra games in the playoffs because we don't know what the Dolphins offensive line, probably nothing, would have done in the playoffs. But in the regular season, Cincinnati gave up 153 pressures. Miami gave up 159 pressures. You can't go off of sacks because you can evade sacks. You can move out of the pocket and more games played, more less, all that stuff. So I would say that their offensive lines are probably equal. I wouldn't say one's worse, one's better. I would say they're both equal. But the difference is Joe Burrow was doing more with less than Tua was doing with us, apparently. Booping my mic with my arm. So again, I'm not here to beat a dead horse or to make you guys feel worse, but it seems like this is probably one of the leading factors that they probably moved on from Flores. Is he started 1-7, it was slow starts, 10-6, high expectations. You start 1-7, and then you have to go on a 9-game winning streak. He almost did it. Versus Cincinnati, who's in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is in the Super Bowl. Jamar Chase in the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? So it's just something, and I'm watching the game. I'm rooting for Joe Burrow. I think fantastic. Get your Super Bowl, get the ring, and bring the first ever championship to Cincinnati. But then I'm sitting back like they started the same exact time that the Dolphins did. They started the same exact time the Dolphins did. And look at where they're at. That defense helped Cincinnati drastically. I'm not taking away from Joe Burrow, but that defense, look at what the defense did for them. You know, Buffalo and some people are crying about the overtime rule. Cincinnati said, oh, you're crying about the overtime rule? How about we play defense in overtime? And they did. 3-and-outed the Kansas City Chiefs. And Cincinnati ended up winning it. So, again, great game by that, but it just makes you sit back and think and put things into perspective and kind of think about why things, like why Flores got fired, where we're going in a different direction. Is because I guess there was a timetable, 3 years. And we should have been better this year. We should have been in the playoffs this year. We shouldn't have been hoping for a 9-game winning streak. We shouldn't have had the worst offensive line. We shouldn't have had the 32nd ranked run game. We shouldn't have been in the situations we've been in, getting blown out by the Bills twice. See what I'm saying? This is your third year. So much cap space, so many picks, and this is where you're at come week 10, week 11. I'm surprised Flores made the full year, but they probably were like, let's see what you could do in this adversity, and he bounced back, but seems like too little too late. So this is just something I again, implication on the playoffs that I was thinking, and the Super Bowls. Cincinnati's in there. They started the same year as us in San Francisco. Obviously, we have connections to their offensive coordinator and the draft pick, but that is what I got for you today. Hopefully we find out who the Miami Dolphins head coach is this weekend, whether it's Jim Harbaugh or Mike McDaniel. This week, Jim Harbaugh or Mike McDaniel. A lot of you guys, and I love you all for it, have sent me that tweet and are just like, Doug, because you know how much I want Jim Harbaugh. So I'll keep you guys updated. If and when it does happen, regardless of who it is, Mike McDaniel, Jim Harbaugh, you're getting a video from me, and we're going to break it down, and then you might get like 2 or 3 videos just breaking it down and how it's going to impact and who we can see coming and going, all that stuff. But if you haven't yet, go follow me on Twitter. One of you guys said, I didn't even know you had a Twitter. And you bringing it up actually helped me find you. I have a Twitter. At DouglieDoWrong, find me. That's where I'm the most active when I'm not making videos. I'm the most active there, tweeting out things and showing breaking news before I can get on here and make a video. So go follow me on Twitter. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Again, if there's news breaking tomorrow. But tomorrow. We got the big O tomorrow. I'm going to put that out as soon as I'm done with that, probably like later that night. But other than that, guys, see you tomorrow. Like usual, stay classy. My feds out.